On the bench today is the Fender Ventura 2 50s Nocaster Blackguard Blonde. Of all my all-time favorites in guitars is the Butterscotch Blonde Telecaster with a black pickguard. If the guitar is configured with slotted tuners, basic Telecaster controls, 7 1/4 inch radius neck, vintage shaped neck, and a 50s style set of pickups, you have a guitar platform that can pretty much do anything. You will see musicians, famous or not, in every venue and every music genre, including rock, country, jazz, blues, and punk, with this very same guitar strapped to their bodies. It is one of the most iconic looking guitars. To put it succinctly, it just looks effing cool. I have a large collection of guitars. It's very difficult to keep track of specific guitars. I regularly have this aha moment where I'll open a case and say, where did that come from? Because of this craziness, it is easy for me to sell something thinking it is a duplicate and then find out later that it was not. I recently went looking for a US or Mexican made Fender vintage Butterscotch Blonde Telecaster with 2 vintage single coil pickups. I found several Butterscotch Blonde Tellies, but they all had different pickup combinations like P90s and Jazzmaster pickups in them. The only Butterscotch Blonde Telly I found with single coils was a Squier Classic Vibe 50s Telecaster. First off, I used to have several of the Squier Classic Vibe 50s Telecasters, and I also had several made in Mexico and US made versions of this same guitar. I don't know how I let this happen. Where'd my guitars go? I think I need to be better when I sell or trade guitars off and tracking what I actually own. I use this though as an excuse to start looking for a guitar to fill the vacancy. I really like the Fender Ventura 2 guitars. When it comes to the Ventura 260s Telecaster, I think this guitar is a better dollar investment, as good a player and as good a quality when compared to its US made counterpart. I've shown in other videos how the made in Mexico guitars hold better resale value after purchase than the American guitars. The data is out there and it tells the truth. Here's an example. The Fender Ventura 2 50s Nocaster, the retail is $999. Used, it goes for $593 to $834. The Fender American Vintage 251 Telecaster, retail is $2,449. Used, $1,341 to $1,775. Looking at those numbers, if you were to buy a brand new version of each of the guitars, so you buy a Fender Ventura 2 50s Nocaster, and then you turn around and sell it mint on Reverb, you'd lose 17% of what you actually paid for it. If you took and bought the Fender American 251 Telecaster, turned around and sold it the same day that you bought it in mint condition on Reverb, you'd lose 28%. For dollar that you invest in the guitar, out of the made in Mexico versions of the guitars, you actually get more dollars back out of the guitar. And the data is there on Reverb. Reverb is really great about it. You can actually download literally data sets and then do analysis on it. And so both of my calculations that I just gave you are based on 6 months worth of sales data. Fender recently lowered the prices on the Ventura 2 line of guitars by $150 for a new guitar. I think they're probably getting ready to close out the line and replace it with something else. I had played a Fender Ventura 250s Nocaster before, and it is a fine guitar. I went ahead and placed my order directly from Fender, and shortly after the guitar was delivered. Here's some of the specifications for the Fender Ventura 250s Nocaster. The guitar is made in Ensenada, Mexico. The guitar comes with an alder body that is finished with gloss polyester. There are 2 colors offered, Butterscotch Blonde and Vintage 2-color Sunburst. The maple neck has a thin 50s U-shaped neck with a 7 1/4 inch radius. There are 21 vintage tall frets. The nut width is 1.650 inches, and the nut material is synthetic bone. The guitar's scale length is 25.5 inches. The truss rod adjustment is vintage and located at the heel of the neck. Tuners are Fender slotted vintage style, and there is a Fender 3-saddle vintage style through body telly bridge with barrel brass saddles. The neck and bridge pickups are both Fender vintage style 50s telly single coil pickups, with the bridge being an Alnico 3 magnet bass pickup and the neck is an Alnico 2 bass pickup. For the controls, there's a single volume control and a single tone control and a standard 3-way blade pickup selector switch. The guitar actually comes with a Fender Deluxe padded gig bag. this of lately is something to be really happy with, since Fender now sells the entire Fender Player 2 series of guitars without cases or gig bags. Retail price for the guitar is $999 as of this date, and used the guitar goes for between $590 and $837 depending upon condition. Opinions and observations. Measuring pickup impedance, the bridge pickup measures 6.96 k ohms. The bridge and the neck pickups combined measure 3.63 k ohms, and the neck pickup by itself measures 7.37 k ohms. My guitar weighs 7 pounds and 7 ounces, or 3.385 kilos. The electronics are the same that you'll find in US-made guitars, CTS pots, Fender 3-way pickup selector switch, very good workmanship on the wiring harness overall. One note, to keep the vintage look, every single mounting screw in the guitar, on the bridge, pickguard, control panel, etc. are all slotted screws and not Phillips screws. Aesthetically, the differences between this guitar and the American Vintage 2 line is 1. The use of gloss poly on the body and neck instead of nitrocellulose lacquer. The pickguard is not Bakelite but plastic. The body is alder and not ash. There are more differences, but are far more subtle. I absolutely love the neck on this guitar, and I find it to be very comfortable to hold and play. The pickups are excellent and something I would not ever change on this guitar. As a matter of fact, I've actually purchased these pickups and installed them in 2 or 3 of my builds. The edges of the frets on the sides of the fretboard are smooth and not sharp. I found 0 fret rocking anywhere on the guitar. My only complaint is I wish the finish was not as thick as it is and allowed for more exposure of the grain. To be honest, I know this is completely possible because I have Squier CV guitars that have absolutely beautiful grain that can be seen clearly through the butterscotch blonde finish. All in all, I think that the Ventura 2 50s Notecaster is not only a beautiful guitar, but an excellent player. I'll have this guitar in my collection for many years to come and be sure to keep track of it so it does not inadvertently get traded or sold.